Need some suspension work and shocks and brakes, brake pads, lining, steering box, transmission, rear end.
Ka-chow.
Just don't see no cars! It works! I love this button!
Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
All right, welcome back to the Unnamed Movie Car Podcast, recording at you live from, I don't know what, a dirt track? Petaluma, what, California?
Petaluma, California.
Oh, because today we watched the movie Lady Driver from 2020.
All right, all the way back.
Yeah, all the way back in
old
2020.
film. Yeah.
Actually, okay, I'm going to spoil the trivia fact.
What?
Because there's only one trivia fact.
What?
This movie was filmed in 2017.
What? It really was?
Yeah, so they sat on it for a little while. But, you know.
Yeah.
So we have 10 minutes before we get to any spoilers or talking about the show. This movie was directed by Sean Paul Pinocchio?
Pincioni? Well, just look it up.
Well, just Google it. Starring Grace Van Dien, Sean Patrick Flannery, and Christina
Sorry to
Moore.
make you guys do the work, but yeah.
Did you recognize anyone in the cast?
No, I actually didn't. Did you?
Yes.
Was he in Transformers? Did he pay to be in the movie?
No, not this time. Sean Patrick Flannery.
Sean Patrick Flannery
plays Connor in the Boondock Saints.
What? No.
He's one of the brothers.
No.
He's not. Not Harold Ramis. Jeez. Norman Reedus.
Wait a minute. So which one was it? Say that again.
So he plays the uncle in the movie. Yeah, now you're drawing the
now
connections.
Now I'm looking at my Sean Patrick Flannery.
He's got a beard in this movie where he doesn't in Boondock Saints.
But huge. Oh my gosh. Total change.
And obviously not William Dafoe.
William Dafoe is not in this movie. That is not a spoiler.
Yeah, he's not in this movie.
Okay.
But
wow.
like we always do, we wait 10 minutes to spoil anything in the movie or really talk about the movie itself. So it gives you ample time to reach for that pause button.
Yep.
So I have a couple pre-show games and stuff we could do.
Hit me.
To continue our theme.
All right.
Of
I'm all jacked up. Can you tell?
I know you're amped today, and I'm very not amped today. I'm very tired.
Here in Petaluma.
Here in Petaluma.
Petaluma is actually an interesting place. But go ahead.
So I brought more. I can't even talk today, man. I brought more candy for the podcast.
I brought candy.
I brought candy for the podcast.
That's what we are fueled on.
I think this might become a staple of the podcast, is trying a little candy at the beginning.
I think that's a good idea.
And if you want to
send us
movies?
if you want to send us candy.
Yeah. Don't send it to us. Hey, so if you want to send us candy, don't. Just don't.
Yeah, that's right. Just don't.
So I recently went to Rocket Fizz.
Yes!
Shout out to Rocket Fizz.
Yes.
There's a location in Boulder, Colorado. There's a location in Portland, Oregon that I've been to.
Very cool.
And there's a place back home.
Speaking of shout outs, shout out to Paul Shin.
Shout out to Paul Shin. Shout out to Craig Lieberman.
Yeah. Paul Shin,
shout
by
out
the way,
to Nick, who's restoring some Sea-Doos right now.
Ooh, cool. Shout out to Nick. Definitely, and Paul Shin again has a YouTube channel on modeling.
Oh yeah,
very cool modeling.
Hopefully, we'll get him on the podcast maybe at one point.
Yes, that would be fun.
Also, he also has recording equipment at home, so that's something we could do across the country.
Yeah, if you got recording,
even though we're in his home state right now of California.
That's right, we're probably close.
So I went to Rocket
Actually,
Fizz,
we are.
and I picked up some Jelly Bellies. Jelly Belly jelly beans.
Actual Jelly Bellies?
So I got buttered popcorn.
That is...
Which is, I think, one of the best flavors.
It is.
I'll toss that to you.
Oh, got it.
But then I also bought... Yeah, really get the ASMR. I bought... Get ready for this.
Uh-oh.
Krispy Kreme flavored jelly beans. I know Krispy Kreme is your favorite.
Wow.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme jelly beans. Anyone out there have those? Comment in the section below if you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
If not, you can go on over to YouTube.
So these are actual Krispy Kreme donut Jelly Belly, like official. And you can see I spared no expense. These were $4. I just realized.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't even. I paid like $12 for 2 things of jelly beans and 2 sodas.
Add that to our budget.
Which I don't even drink soda. I just got it to have.
I know. That's the thing. It's amazing.
Because it's an old. I got Ale 8 for anyone in Kentucky. You know what that is, but
Ale 8. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
it's the.
Should I crack this open?
Yeah, you could crack either one of these.
So let me. I'm gonna have to.
All right, so I'll vamp while you.
Yeah, definitely.
While you. Yeah, jeez. People are probably pissed off at us.
All right, hold on a second. I'm going offline here.
Yeah, he's going offline for a second. But yeah, so Jelly Belly, I believe, is actually based out of Wisconsin or Illinois. And it's an old-time jelly bean distributor. We actually took a tour of Jelly Belly.
You went out.
Did you not go with us?
No, I did not go. I was not fortunate enough to go.
Were you earning bread for the family or something?
Yeah, I was probably doing that. I think I was actually at work when you guys went there. So,
but we went.
I don't know.
Fun fact: this is a fun story.
We
went a long time ago. It is fun.
Okay.
Because there's like the Jelly Belly factory and then the Jelly Belly factory. You can chew. I'll tell a story.
What?
So basically, there's like a factory storefront where it's kind of like Disney World, where there's Jelly Belly statues and there's a wall of jelly beans. But then there's the place where they actually build it, which looks like a 1940s like Detroit auto factory.
Like the real guts.
Yeah, that's where they actually cook everything, and there's thousands of pounds of liquid sugar that gets shipped in.
It's a guy named Bob that
trucks.
that hasn't washed in a year. Yeah,
like, hey, like you hear that stuff in the background. You're like, am I? Are they making jelly beans or am I getting mugged? So there was this one day when we were kids. We were taken to the Jelly Belly factory. The store one, and they're like, oh, this is how they're made, blah blah blah. But then we went to the real one right afterwards because we knew someone that worked there, and we got to try 2 jelly bean flavors before they debuted to the public. One of them was, I believe, green tea, something of the sort, and then there was
urinal cake. Was that another one?
No, it was shredded pencil. It tasted like pencil shavings. It was one of their Bean Boozled. Have you ever played Bean Boozled? Do you know what that is?
No. Go ahead.
So Bean Boozled is a game from Jelly Belly where they give you a box of jelly beans, and the colors, there's 2 flavors per color.
Yeah.
So one color is brown and it's a chocolate flavor, but then it's also dog poop.
Oh,
and they look
gross.
identical. So you take one out of the box, you don't know what you're gonna get. And then, it's literally just a fun game of oh, that's disgusting. Literally, there's a vomit flavor. There's a rotten egg flavor that looks like these. They look identical to the popcorn ones.
By the way, you are listening to the Unnamed Movie Car podcast.
Did I not say that?
You did, but in case someone just started listening 5 minutes in, and they're like, who are these jamokes talking about jelly beans? Go ahead.
Well, I'm eating my jelly beans now, so you got to vamp.
Okay, so I've got to talk about it. So I was not a part of that whole thing. And anyway, I had seen, interestingly enough, I just saw a movie where they were playing the game of the jelly beans, and that movie was
Harry Potter. Oh.
Hot Rod. Hot Rod.
I think there's a version of it in Harry Potter.
Probably. There is.
Oh,
there is,
yes.
But Hot Rod, they're sitting outside of that.
He's like, very cherry.
Yeah, very cherry.
He's closing his eyes, and they're giving him the flavors.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we go to the factory, and they have us try, I believe it was green tea and then the pencil shavings, which really tasted like you were chewing on your pencil in 8th grade social studies. It was very weird.
Why would you want that?
But then they took us into some of the cook rooms, and I remember we were with my mom, and she touched one of the molds for the making the candies, and it dented.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! How did she dent it?
It was a super. She barely lightly touched it with her finger. She just wanted to see what it was made out of, and it had dented the big bear mold or whatever. Maybe it was an egg shape or something. But I remember distinctly she touched it and it dented a little bit.
Did they
you
have
can
to
ask her about
shut
it.
down the factory for 3 hours?
A red dot appeared on her forehead. And we just started running. There was a jelly bean posted on the roof. Yeah, they locked it down and they
emergency.
They have guns, but they're only filled with jelly beans, so it didn't hurt that bad.
Soft gummy bears and ping, 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 ping.
But since we're getting towards the 10-minute, I do have another pre-game
Cool.
Or pre-show game.
Again, you're listening to the Unnamed Movie Car
Well,
Podcast.
this has to do with the movie. This
Okay,
this
all right.
is
So
movie
this
related.
is okay. This is
So
good.
we're gonna
All
play
right.
a game of Mad Libs.
Okay,
Mad
good. I
Libs
love
that
Mad
I
Libs.
actually. So I made this Mad Libs.
Oh, cool.
And so because
Very good.
the plot of this movie, while we're not directly spoiling it yet,
Right.
is rather predictable.
We will.
And so I made a Mad Libs around the plot of this movie.
Okay, good.
Showing you how predictable. So we're gonna make our own movie.
Okay, so
with
you
what you're telling me. So
yeah.
mount this up here. I need
All
a
right.
name for our main character.
A name, Jim Bob. Can we say Jim Bob? Yeah.
Pick one, Jim or Bob.
Well, that was
'cause
the
I have to write it like 8 times.
Okay,
So,
Jim. Let's
Jim?
just say
Okay.
Jim.
so hold on. Let me fill this in. You said Jim.
Jim.
I shouldn't have added this. I mean, it says the character's name so many times.
Oh,
I actually highlighted each
Okay.
time I have to write it in.
all right.
So Jim is our character.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go.
Probably the most interesting name I could think
Right.
of. was
Which I
Jim.
actually saw a TikTok yesterday about bland character names and how they should never exist.
Okay.
So give me an
Yep.
actor or actress name.
An actor or actress name. Oprah. Could we? Yeah.
Give me an occupation.
Hairstylist. Okay. Is that good enough? I mean, I
Yeah.
can't. Okay.
Sorry, I have to write.
I know.
Give me a tool that occupation would use. So give me something a hairstylist would use.
Blow dryer. Okay.
Give me an actor's name.
Cher.
Cher?
Cher. She's an actress.
Actor. Like so,
Actor.
so male.
Oh, I'm
This is
sorry,
male.
male actor. I can't think of one. Rocky.
What, like Rocky Balboa?
Well,
It's a character. It's not an actor. But, all
I'm
right, you know
sorry,
what?
an
Fine.
actor's name. Okay.
Fine. We'll do Rocky. It's
All
fine.
right, Rocky.
This is your funeral.
I
All right.
don't know. I don't know what
Give
I'm
me
doing.
a city and a state.
A city as Petaluma, California. Is that?
I mean, you can if you want. Is
I'm
that
doing
your
Petaluma.
final choice?
Just say Petaluma, California. I cannot talk because I'm all hopped up now on jelly beans.
I know.
I'm like all like zoom. Here I go. Ooh, ooh.
Did you like the jelly beans?
Yes,
The
they were
butter
delicious.
popcorn?
The butter popcorn, jelly beans are delicious.
Yeah. Give me an adjective.
An adjective, like what? Like
A describing word.
sticky.
Okay.
Okay.
This will be interesting. Give me an actor or actress name.
Wow, another one.
I know.
An actor's name.
Actor or actress. Could be male or female.
Oh, actress. Cher.
All right. Give me an actor name. Male.
Wow. Actor's name. Ron Howard, or Ron. It doesn't matter.
Give me a disease.
Encephalitis.
Encephalitis. What is that?
I'm not even sure what encephalitis is, but I'm just gonna say it's probably bad.
All right. Give me an action verb ending in S.
Shootings.
Shootings.
Wait, no, that's not an action verb.
No, it's not. Wait.
It's action verb. Action verb ending in S.
Yeah. Punches, kicks, jumps.
Okay, punches. Let's just
Okay.
say punches. I don't know.
All right. Let me button this up and
All right.
we'll get
Okay.
ready.
Because
I think that's it. Okay, ready?
yeah.
So this is the Mad Libs of everything that you gave me. Ready?
Okay. All right.
So, this movie is about a kid named Jim, played by Oprah.
Okay, sounds feasible.
Jim-
Let's greenlight this one.
Jim is a handful in school and hates their stepdad, played by Rocky.
Okay.
Jim's real dad was a hairstylist and died in a terrible blow dryer accident.
so far it's tracking with the movie exactly. I mean, we can give away the
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So
when
when Jim moves to whatever California,
Petaluma,
California,
love Petaluma.
they start working as a hairstylist themselves.
All right.
Through this, they learn what really happened to their dad and how similar they are to him.
Mm-hmm.
There is a sticky love interest
Okay.
that helps Jim throughout the movie,
Yeah.
played by Cher.
Maybe she's eating a lot of Jelly Bellies or something because that's
Maybe.
sticky. Yeah. Okay.
Jim gets a mentor who is
Yeah.
an old man, played by Ron Howard.
Sorry, Ron.
pretty spot
Sorry,
on, though.
Ron Howard.
The
All right.
mentor gets sick with infectionitis as Jim is becoming proficient at hairstyling. The climax comes when Jim punches the king of hairstyle. Jim achieves what their dad couldn't as a hairstylist. Nick Cage nods from a distance.
Wait a minute. Why did you? We didn't do anything about Nick
No,
Cage.
no,
You
no
just
matter
threw
what,
that
it
in?
was going to
Okay.
be Nick
Well, it is
Cage
true.
nods from a distance.
It is true that Nick Cage is in every film. Every film.
So this is
Every
a boy
film.
named Jim,
Every film. The boy named Jim.
played by Oprah. So that's
She's a very talented actress.
you know, she is very talented.
she's
she's
very- she has
probably
a
one of
good
the richest
range.
people to come from Chicago.
Probably. There's
so that's
many
all I
people
have for
that
the
are rich from Chicago.
pre-show.
Okay,
We're
so let's
into the
get
show
into
now.
it. All right.
Let's
so
talk
what
about
did
the
you think
movie.
of this movie? Where do you
think-
begin?
You know, I don't think it was ill-intentioned.
Now,
It was not a very good movie,
Remember, everybody, it was called Lady Driver,
right?
and the premise of the movie, I'm just going to give the premise
Oh
of
yeah,
the movie.
go for it. I'm gonna eat some more
this-
jelly beans, so
yeah.
go for it.
This young girl, 16 years old, just gets her driver's license, basically runs away from home. She's got a crappy family, runs away from home, and she goes to join her, unknowingly joins her Uncle Tim, played by the Sean Patrick Flannery. And see, I actually have notes here.
I'm very proud of you.
Because I could never remember the actors or the
Yeah,
the
I get bad
characters.
at remembering too.
So Ellie is the girl who runs away, and then she ends up helping her Uncle Tim at a garage, fixing cars, and then she begins to race cars on dirt tracks. So that's really the whole premise of the entire movie.
You know, I gotta say, we gotta stop eating at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
Especially these jelly beans get stuck in your
Yeah,
teeth.
they do. I know. That's why
I was sitting there chewing, and I was like, vamp, vamp, vamp.
Yeah, I actually had some. I have some LaCroix here,
Yeah,
which is
not a
the
sponsor.
yes, not a sponsor, but could be. Wink, wink,
Wink,
to
wink,
you,
LaCroix.
LaCroix.
We know you listen.
Key lime is what I'm drinking right now, which is what
You know,
I like,
I've
so.
never had actual key lime pie.
No,
I've only had key lime LaCroix
Nah,
and
you're
key
ha-
lime yogurt.
that's for your birthday coming up, which was a long time ago because
Yeah.
we're talking in the future. We're gonna get you some key lime pie,
All right.
so yeah, you're gonna have to eat it.
that's
but
fine.
yeah, it's good. Anyway,
So, pretty predictable premise of this movie.
yeah, it is.
When you don't know what happened to her dad, obviously her dad was a race car driver. Obviously he was very good. Obviously he died in a wreck,
Yep.
even though they
Wah,
don't want
wah.
to say that he died in a wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I did that Mad Libs. I was literally sitting there.
Yep.
I'm like, this is, you know what it felt like to me?
What?
A Hallmark racing movie.
Yeah. You
where
know,
it's
yeah,
kind of pretty cookie cutter, actually.
yeah, very.
And they have some celebrities. You recognize one celebrity.
Or
which I do
not,
wanna
but
say,
I did. Okay,
which
you
I do
did.
want to say. The
did.
girl who played Ellie.
Yep.
That was her name, right?
Yes.
Ellie.
Her
Her name is Grace Van Dyne.
Van
Van
Dien.
She's actually going to be in the 4th season of Stranger Things.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so I
okay,
looked
cool.
on her
Yeah, it's-
IMDb, and she's in season 4 of Stranger Things.
Honestly, a little bit in looks wise, kind of reminds me of Bella a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
could see it.
So anyway, but yes, so that's cool that she's going to be in that. So
Yeah.
I mean, she was fine. Sean Patrick Flannery was fine. Although again, totally didn't realize that he was in Reservoir.
I
not
knew-
Reservoir.
I
he was in.
Felt like I recognized him
yeah.
from something,
Yeah.
but I guess like the last
did-
time we saw him in something, what, Boondock
Yeah.
Saints was 99
that
or
was a long time
2000?
ago. Yeah,
So,
but
you know.
but to your point, it did feel kind of like a Hallmark kind of movie.
Yeah, you kind of, because my mom, your wife, watches a lot of Hallmark movies.
Yes.
Even the Christmas in July, which is
Yes.
just obscene.
Yes.
But she doesn't really watch them.
No.
Like she's not taking
No,
notes.
she doesn't.
Because,
she's like always doing something else.
Which is how I treat podcasts. Is like
right.
You kind of understand the beats of it.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of understand the rhythm of it. You can jump right in at any moment and be
Yes.
like, oh, I assume this is when the girl gets the big break and she has to move away and make the decision
Right.
between the guy or moving away
Yeah,
from the big
yeah.
job. You know, it's pretty cut and dry. So it kind of felt that way with this, except it wasn't Christmas themed and it wasn't, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the typical hallmark is there's a successful woman. She goes out on her own or whatever. She meets a guy.
Yeah.
They don't like each other.
Right
She's
guy,
in
wrong place.
right.
you
She's in
know.
a relationship. And one of my things, always in a Hallmark movie,
Yeah.
the hallmark of the Hallmark movie is when the woman breaks up with her current boyfriend. It's always an amicable breakup. It's always nice and sweet, and everybody's okay with it.
Yeah.
It's like in real life,
No,
they're not okay
it's
with
messy.
it.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's
In
awful.
real life,
it's
you
terrible.
break up with the abusive guy with the C6 Corvette. That's what real life is about, brother.
It's more like it's more like Hot Rod with that guy. Babe,
that's literally who I was
babe.
thinking
Yeah.
of.
Exactly.
no,
babe,
babe.
no, babe. Yeah,
Will Arnett's great.
yeah, Will Arnett. Shout out to Will Arnett.
Yeah, shout out to Will. You know, he's a big fan of the show.
He is,
Shout out to
yes.
Will Arnett.
He listens all the time.
A couple. I do have a couple notes. I jotted down a couple
All right.
notes while watching. The very first thing I wrote down, and I want your input on this,
Okay.
is I said the movie feels like it's for English language learners.
Well, what?
So there's this thing. So
Okay.
this is gonna go real into a deep dive. On YouTube, there's this guy called Darman, and he makes these videos. Cody Ko has covered him a bunch. YMH has covered him a bunch.
Okay.
Basically, it's this guy he makes these videos about like life lessons. And the one that sticks out to me is that this guy, he's not very nice to his wife. So and he leaves her.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But like in the movie or in the video, he's like, so and so's not nice to his wife. And then he goes like, hey wife, you're fat. Like it's very like, you know, like that.
On the nose.
Right, it's very on the
On the
nose.
nose.
And so a lot of people make fun of this guy of like, oh, it's very on the nose. But then he came out and said like a majority of his audience doesn't understand English well. Or it's people in other countries that want to consume American culture.
Okay.
And, you know, so it is very literal.
Okay.
And it's very straightforward, and there's not a whole lot of like discreet acting, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt like with this, of like the dialogue was like very straightforward.
Yeah.
Of like always use like a lot of names were used. Like they kept saying like, what you're looking up like.
No, I'm trying to think of the names and stuff.
Well, just like Ellie was always like Tim this, Tim that. Not like
Yeah.
she never called him anything else but his name.
Yeah.
Maybe
well,
uncle once
she
or
did,
twice.
She did say uncle, but I think,
Like
you know,
I just
how
felt
we
like
knew
it was
he was the uncle.
like it was just very straightforward, I guess.
Yeah.
Like okay, like a scene where the race car doesn't need keys.
Right.
And she's like, "Where are the keys? Where are the keys? Where are the keys?" And then he goes, "Oh, it's a race car. It doesn't need keys."
Donde está el Kios? I don't know how to say keys.
That means, where are the keys? Papa, papa. Yeah, no.
Donde es la biblioteca?
Oh my
Where is the library?
I'm trying to think of.
Donde es la
we used to have
Pepe?
to watch these.
Oh, Pepe.
We used to watch Spanish soap operas in Spanish class,
Yeah.
and I forget what the.
Those are awesome.
Something Maria, not Donde está Maria, something like that.
Yeah.
It was like some like Where's Maria? It was like
Right.
the whole show, like literally the
Donde
name of the
es
show.
Maria?
But no, the movie
Maybe
kind
that
of felt
was
like
the name
that.
of the show.
It
That
felt
was the name.
like it. You know what? I
Donde
think they
es Maria?
overwrote the script. I think
Yeah.
is
Well, yes.
is
it was,
is at the end of the day.
and I think it was two guys.
Oh
Two
yeah, I saw,
guys
yeah.
wrote the script about a young girl driver, which it's kind of like, okay, great, you used a girl instead of a guy. Okay,
Right,
that's fine.
yeah.
And she was okay, and you know, I was gonna roll my eyes and go, okay, she's a Mary Sue, she can do everything, and
Right.
she's flawless and everything. But we did get to see her go through some letdowns and things where she wasn't a super great driver right away, kind of.
Yeah.
She was like a natural driver, but she just got her driver's license. Literally the same day she got her driver's license, she drove away.
Right.
She drove.
Right. And
she is. Yeah. She.
And there's the part where she comes in. She's like, "Why aren't I winning races?" And I thought it was a very real moment where he was like, "Hey, you've been doing this a month. Shut up." But then,
I would just say, drive faster, drive
yeah,
better.
I was like,
drive more gooder.
I really want, like, because I was like, oh, that is real, because like, stuff like that, like racing.
Muy rápido.
Like our good friend Adam.
Yeah.
Races Spec Miata.
Yeah.
He's been
I'm
doing
gonna
it now
ask.
for
I'm going to ask Adam that.
What?
Adam, why aren't you winning?
Just go faster.
Just go faster, Adam.
He started Spec
Go
Miata
faster.
2 years ago. He's been doing it for 2 years, racing in Spec Miata, which is just a racing class, and he's a solid mid-pack car.
Okay.
Like he doesn't finish
right.
top 3, but he's like real solid in the middle, like consistently.
Yeah.
Which is awesome to see after 2 years.
Yeah.
That progress
2 years.
from starting at the back of the grid to
Right.
even being the middle of the grid.
Right.
I mean, like in F1, recently there was one of the Williams drivers placed 9th place
Okay.
in the race out of 20, 9th out of 20.
Okay.
And he's in an interview crying. He's like, I can't believe it. Like all of the hard work that's gone into it. He
Yeah.
placed 9th.
Okay.
He ended up, there was a issue, so he ended up actually moving up to 8th. But still, it was like, like,
if you ain't first, you're last.
yeah. Well, people think that that's a real mentality. Like that
No,
was
I'm kidding.
written. That
Yeah,
was
that was
written as a
Talladega Nights.
joke.
Yeah,
which
Talladega
they even
Nights.
poke fun
Oh.
at in Talladega Nights,
Right.
where he's like,
Yes.
like, oh hell, Ricky, I was drunk when I said that.
You could be fourth.
You could be third. You could be hell. You could be fifth. So
Oh yeah, exactly.
the
Yeah, please don't
How-
make that your mantra in life
Yeah.
for anyone out there. If you're not first, you're last.
it's fun
but-
to yell out of
yeah.
a Honda Civic window when you're going through the McDonald's drive-through at 1 a.m. with your friends, but
Not that
none
that,
other time
not that
does
that ever
apply.
happened.
Yeah.
Not that you ever actually did that.
I get too specific.
Or maybe that I did. But yeah.
I did think that she moved up in the ranks a little too fast. Where they're
Oh,
like, oh
yeah.
yeah, now we're switching your racing class after she didn't even win in the first one. They're like, oh, you placed second, good enough. Now let's move you up
Well,
to
no.
like this like apparent $1 million league or something.
So okay, so that's important to know. So one of her first races, she didn't win, and that's fine. That's good that she didn't win her
Yeah.
first race. It's supposed to be that way. But then she finally got to like 3rd place. And I thought, okay, good. She's on the podium. She's with that jerk guy who won
Right,
first
yeah.
place. Okay. That was fine. But then they showed her like the montage of her getting better and doing all the races
Yeah.
and you always call back
Gonna
to
need a
montage. Yeah.
They just added that to Netflix. I watched Team America the other night.
That's such an awesome film.
Yeah.
That song montage actually should be played every time there's an actual
Yeah.
montage in a movie. But yeah, so shout out to Team America.
Shout out to Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
I think it's Matt Stone. Yeah.
Matt Stone. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, shout out to them. That's such an awesome, awesome song, because it really is true for every single movie that has a montage. But when I saw that montage, I was like, okay, great. And then they're going to build up to her, and then she's going to win. Well, then they show her, and she won like twice, and they made no big deal about it.
Yeah.
She won like top.
Yeah.
She won first place twice, and I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, slow down.
Yeah.
If that should kind of either be at the end of the montage and then they celebrate that
Right.
fact, or it shouldn't be in the montage at all and then they show a race and then she wins that race. I mean, it's just like, well, you guys just skipped over that whole part of her
Yeah.
winning. That wasn't very satisfying.
Also, the mom coming back in and being
Yeah.
like, "Oh, she's racing."
Yeah.
This was like a month later.
Right. Yeah, that
Like,
mom
she
was
didn't
like
check in on her at all.
that mom was like the worst mom ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bad dad, but not as bad
True,
as she is
but
a
yeah.
bad mom. Yeah,
Huh.
thanks.
You never sent me
Appreciate it.
away during the summer though.
No,
I've
tried.
I've spent every wow. Tried shipping me out, I see.
No. Yeah, we're gonna send you to Uncle Bob's car garage.
I would
You would
love
love
I
that.
would
You
have
would've-
loved that, yeah.
That would have been like
Yeah,
the
that
most
would've been
awesome
nice.
thing. I would have been actually a good dad if I would have done
A couple other notes that I had here.
that. Okay.
There was a couple of very noticeable GoPro shots.
Oh, really?
Most
okay.
specifically,
All right.
I've been
Yep.
noticing this recently, actually.
Yes.
Bella and I have been watching The Outer Banks. Have you heard about this show?
Nope.
I believe I brought it up. The Outer Banks is.
I'm not listening.
It's a teen show. It's like a
Yep.
teen treasure hunt show.
I'm not watching that. I'm
Yeah,
not
don't-
reading
don't
it
watch
either.
it.
I'm not reading it.
I was gonna say a couple lines, but like the
Okay.
lines are only famous on TikTok, which you're not even on.
I'm
it's
not-
literally a world
no,
that
not
you're
on-
just unassociated with.
I'm not on TikTok.
But it's funny because in the Outer Banks, which is a Netflix show,
Yeah.
a high production Netflix show,
Okay.
there's a chase, and they clearly cut multiple times to GoPro shots. I can fully tell that they are GoPro shots
How do you know?
because the
What-
way the
what-
camera moves, the coloring, and the fisheye of it,
Yeah.
and the way that they only use it when it's like clearly mounted to something.
Ah.
So like there was an over-the-shoulder shot in a he's driving actually a Volkswagen bus in the show.
Cool.
There's an over-the-shoulder shot, and the way that the camera moves, I know that they used GoPro hyper smooth technology. Like it.
Wow, that's weird. That
I
you could,
sit and edit GoPro footage probably 8 hours a day.
Right.
I called it out. I was like, Bella, that's a GoPro. And they put a GoPro on the back of the boats.
I'm sure she appreciated that right in the middle
Yeah,
of the.
she's like, shut up. I always point
she's,
out
she's
stuff
like probably
that.
sleeping while you're watching the movie, and then you're like, GoPro,
Also,
GoPro shot.
There's
GoPro
a scene
shot.
where they take a car in the second season. Spoiler: they take a car, and there's a shot of them talking in the car, and it's just their heads. You
Yeah.
just see their heads get into the car.
Yeah.
And I said, Bella, that's a Volvo 240, because the headrests in a
Wow.
Volvo 240 have these like holes in them. And she was like, "What?" And then, literally 3 minutes later, you finally see the outside of the car.
Yeah.
And there's a shot of the back. Volvo 240 says
Wow.
right on the back.
Good for
Very
you.
proud of that. Anyway,
Yeah, you should
in this
be.
movie, when she's
I'm
driving,
Sure, I'm sure Bella rolled her eyes and was like, "Yeah,
she
great.
hates me. But
Uh-huh.
there's a scene where she
Yeah.
first drives on the dirt track,
Yes,
which also the bad guy, villain's guy, happens to be there.
he
in a
happens
Ford
to be
Raptor.
there in a Ford Raptor, which on a dirt track could do probably pretty well. I mean, it's
Yeah, with 4-wheel drive
Yeah.
against this like I'm
That's a
such a
beater
bad
car.
host. I didn't even look up what car they're driving.
I was surprised though.
You
that
know,
didn't
I
have
was
that.
thinking
Yeah,
about that. I'm
okay.
like, I haven't researched the cars of these movies
Yeah,
in
I
a
know.
while. I'm slacking. Anyway,
But you did for Pumpkinhead. I think.
yeah.
I think Leo was pretty surprised that you knew the vehicles of
Yeah.
Pumpkinhead, which is coming. No, we just already did that one.
Yeah, that's already out.
Yeah.
This
What?
is November 13th, I believe.
Is it?
This will
Okay.
come out.
All right.
So we're trucking along. Thanksgiving episode coming up soon.
Very soon.
But so there's GoPro shots on the fender. I could tell
Oh,
there was
okay.
like the mud kicking up.
Yeah.
100% a GoPro shot.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
It's always funny just seeing that
Oh.
in cinema because it's something that I work with every day. You know, it's
Sure.
like
Well, yeah.
I work with it every single day, and then to see that like these giant productions are also using the same exact equipment
Yeah.
as I do is kind of fun.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, the GoPro, man, that is the tool, though. That is the tool.
it
to
is a
use.
stout. I hate my GoPro at the moment, but it's a
You
very
do.
stout camera. There's a glitch in it right now
Yeah.
where every time it turns off, it resets the date.
Oh,
So all of
You're
my
kidding.
clips are all jumbled up
is there
every time I upload it.
it?
Here's the thing: in order to do a software update,
Yeah.
is that what you're?
I was gonna say a hardware update, but yeah.
Well,
Oh.
yeah. So like,
Yeah.
well,
Firmware.
firmware. Yes.
Firmware, yeah.
So to do the firmware update,
Yeah.
I have to Bluetooth pair it to my phone, and then the update goes through the app to the camera through Bluetooth. I can't hook it into my computer to download an update.
Huh.
So I'll probably do that tonight,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's annoying.
Yeah, we lost internet for a while, so that was really difficult.
Yeah, it was-
doing all that.
So hard. You know, we filled up the bathtub with water in case we had to survive, and
Right.
that was our Y2K.
Right, exactly. That was like we had trash cans in the backyard burning fires,
Yeah.
just in case, and yeah, we just
And we did eat the neighbors, but
well,
anyway,
we had to. Well, at least their dog.
so GoPro shots very noticeable, and
Yeah.
that's the one thing for me
Okay.
that takes me out of the movie is I'm like
Well,
I shot
not-
this. I
yeah.
could have shot this. That's a little GoPro suction
Wow.
cup mount. I know exactly what they're doing. They do color grade them
yeah,
though,
yes,
because the standard GoPro color grading is
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah,
I
I know.
always have to mess with it. But you can, I believe, shoot in RAW or whatever the video equivalent of RAW is on a
and then
GoPro.
Okay, and then can you do the whole?
You can adjust and color it and grade it and everything
Yeah,
from there.
I forget what they call it. There's a color palette. There's like a
Coloring,
table.
right?
Yeah, it's coloring, but there's like a table.
Okay. Second to last note I have. it felt like this movie had way too many chapters or acts. I couldn't think of it.
Okay.
I felt like there was too many acts.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Again, it was fairly predictable. I could see. In fact, it's funny because I actually paused the movie, like, I think it was 12 minutes in or so.
Yeah.
That was the inciting incident from the first act into the second act.
Yeah.
It was like clearly demarked. I'm surprised there
what was
wasn't a
that?
subtitle in the movie that said
What was
now
happening in that?
in that she ran away from home and she actually started working at Tim's garage.
Yeah. Okay. So then there's that. Then there's the whole part of her driving on the dirt track
Yep.
and meeting the guy and
Yep.
seeing that. So that would be what, Act 2?
Yeah, leading up to the center, which was her actually becoming a full-fledged dirt track racer.
Right.
So the center of the movie the pivot point was that she actually became a dirt track racer.
Okay.
So that was the middle of Act 2, going down to the pivot point, which of course was, Tim being in the hospital and
right.
her mom and blah, blah, blah. And then, like you were talking about, she changed classes
Which does not happen. For so many okay, it does happen.
They said, yeah,
like it happen. Obviously, it happens. No one just sticks to their
but
classes.
they said
Isn't,
you have to win a lot of races, and it takes
Right.
time and all that. I mean, yeah.
But switching classes is more than just you get a better car and you go. You have to like relearn the car. I
Yeah.
mean, you're dealing with completely different rules, completely different limitations, everything is different.
Yeah.
So that was a little weird.
Yep.
Also, talking about Tim getting sick.
Yeah.
He just shows up at the end. He's totally fine.
Oh, yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took some pills. He's fine.
Yeah, all right.
He got out of the hospital. He took some pills. He's fine.
But okay, so maybe there was. So you're saying there was a more distinct 3-act.
I think there
thing.
was it. There
And
was
I
the
don't-
basic 3-act structure. But yeah.
I bring the cars to the table. I don't bring the filmmaking to the table.
All right,
So
okay.
I agree with. I'm learning that there was
Yep.
3 acts. However, there was something about it that was very off-putting. Maybe it was like the amount of like location changes, or
Yeah.
they go out to the track and it was like bright white. Like it looked like it was like the screen was so bright when they're
Yeah.
out at the track, and then they're back at this dimly lit, garage. Maybe it was that changing of scenery that I thought it was that made me just feel like there was more acts. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or am I just delusional?
No, that there was a lot of different light changes. The color grading wasn't. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't terrible in this movie, but it was just okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I felt like I just felt like it was kind of all over the place a little bit. But maybe that was just me. Maybe that's my watching style and what I got from it, which everyone's going to get something different.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, to me, it was, literally I stopped it in the middle of the movie, and at the middle of the movie was,
Yeah.
I mean, so it was kind of like exactly on point where, okay, it was at this point you knew exactly, okay, that was going to be the inciting incident that spins around. It's the plot point that spins us into the next thing, and that's fine.
Again, Hallmark-like.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Hallmark is definitely one where you literally, we do play the game. Your mom and I play the game of, okay, how quickly can we pick the guy that she's going to fall in love with and kiss at the end? And blah,
I don't
blah,
know
blah.
why. I feel like
how quickly.
Hallmark is the equivalent of like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Because
Probably,
it's like
yeah.
they don't do a whole lot of stuff, but they do it to a point
Yeah.
each time.
Yeah.
And I feel like if a writer for Hallmark comes in
Yeah.
and they're like, hey, we're going to do a 4-act
Right.
thing. There's going to be a red dot on their chest. They're not going to be ever seen again. They're going to wake up in
it's-
3 separate barrels. That's what's going to happen to them.
It's
You know what I mean? Like at
It's a-
Chick-fil-A,
yeah.
if Chick-fil-A, if they don't say my pleasure,
yeah.
that person goes missing. They don't say my pleasure. The next Tuesday,
Yeah.
they're on the back of a milk carton.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick. 'Cause
That's
I
what
know
happens at Chick-fil-A.
if you say if they don't say my pleasure, does a red dot appear on
Yes,
their chest? And
there's
it's, okay.
in all of the Chick-fil-A's, there's a little play place, and there's a little red race car that kids can like climb in and out of. That's like raised up above and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a play place.
Okay,
like a
yeah,
McDonald's.
yeah.
I think they actually used to be owned by McDonald's.
Okay.
But we always joke that's where the sniper actually is in a ghillie suit, and he's sitting there because you could see the counter perfectly from an elevated surface from that little red race car. If you've ever been to Chick-fil-A, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And there's a guy in there with a Barrett 50 cal, and he is trained to kill. If you don't say my pleasure, you are removed.
A Barrett 50, you know how much damage that would do? Oh, my God.
The Chick-fil-A worker would literally explode.
Exactly.
And I just imagine two other guys just
Barrett
carry
50.
him off, and another pale, white-faced teenager who's like, how may I help you? My pleasure.
Please.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Trembling.
Yeah.
Would you like Chick-fil-A sauce?
No, I think, you're right that this movie was very much, paint by the numbers. And so is Hallmark, though. The reason why Hallmark is the way it is it's because Hallmark movies are like the comfy chair. You know exactly what to expect. There's nothing really out of the ordinary. You see different, sometimes the same actors, but you see generally different people playing the same basic parts. And every time you know exactly what's going to happen, and it's like, you don't.
Right.
You can relax. There's not going to be like any real conflict, not any real like difficulties or struggles or life lessons to learn or anything like that. It's going to be
Can I make another parallel to bring it back into cars?
All right, yeah.
It's like a Miata.
Okay.
Because when I get into Miatas, when I review Miatas, drive Miatas, I know exactly what to expect.
Okay.
And it's nice because I know even if I haven't driven this specific Miata before, I can get into it. I can chuck it around that corner doing 45 miles an hour, and it's not going to step out. Unless it's like weird dry rotted tires or some other, thing. I know exactly what I'm going to get when it's very predictable. And that's the best thing a car can be is predictable.
Sure.
The best thing a car can be is not fast. It's not, quiet. It's not loud. The best thing, hands down, a car can be is predictable.
Yeah.
Because then you have confidence and you can drive at the absolute limit knowing, exactly what's going to happen. If something that's very replicable. Why am I stuttering? You could replicate it a lot.
Yes. You could.
Very not
repeatable? Are you
repeatable?
Repeatable?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
No, I agree. And there's certain things that, there are things in life, the things that we count on are things that are repeatable, the things that are just reliable, and it's boom, boom, boom. I'm doing the chopping motion in the air where it's just this section, boom, this section, boom, this section. And so, in a way, the movie was kind of like comfortable where I was like, okay, I know what's going to happen. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's kind of nice that it's a girl. And and let's talk about her mom. Okay? Let's talk about the mom in the movie. I'm not even sure who this is. Jesse, no?
He's pulling up his notes, everyone.
Christina
He actually
Moore.
pulled out a second pair of eyeglasses to see the notes.
You know what? No, right here.
Oh, you actually do have
I actually do have my
I thought
eyeglasses.
those were blue light glasses.
No, they're not. They are. But
They're both?
they're both, so I can read. So here basically.
Those mine. I lost mine.
No, they're not yours.
Wow, you said that a little too quick, but all right.
And don't you dare look at them carefully because, and even though they have,
wait a sec.
Even though your name is written on the side of them, these are not your glasses.
I definitely
They're
dremeled my
glasses.
name in the side, but go on.
Okay. So Christina Moore, who plays Jessie Lansing Dixon, is the mom. Very interesting, by the way. I don't know if you noticed this, but Casper Van Dien.
Okay.
Is the father who dies in the car crash, right?
Right.
The girl who plays Ellie, the daughter, is Grace Van Dien.
Oh, are they actually related?
I don't know how many Van Diens there are in the world,
it's true.
but
I haven't ever met one. Yeah.
I find it very interesting, and they could be father and daughter.
Okay.
So
well,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually, like your dad plays your dad in the movie, and
was
all
he
that.
maybe on set that one day, and they're like, "Hey,
probably
throw these overalls on," but because there's only a couple clips of him in the movie.
There's very, very little. Yeah, very, very few. But so the mom, Christina Moore, is the actress, and Jessie Lansing Dixon is her name in the movie. Anyway, she's a horrible, mean, terrible person.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, overboard.
But until she's not.
Until she's not. Exactly.
Till she's not.
You talk about
I'm
character
talking to
arc.
my race team right now. And she's like, you mean it? And it's like, yeah, that doesn't erase the like 19
trauma.
the 16 years of
trauma.
and abuse
Yeah.
of the last.
Yeah.
Just your mom saying, oh yeah, okay, now we're going racing
Right.
now.
Yeah. And it was such a you're absolutely that was the best way to put it, is that she was terrible until she wasn't, because
Yeah.
all of a sudden it was like a switch. Like there wasn't this, I guess I'm warming up to it, and there wasn't much time in the movie to do it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that. It was like,
She was a very inconsistent character.
yes, exactly. But in the beginning, she was all bad, all
Yeah.
mean, all nasty, like just a wench, you know.
Yeah.
And
then not seen for probably about 40 minutes
right,
of the movie.
yes. And then she comes back and she's really ticked off.
Sorry, she isn't seen for the duration of one car chase in Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's right. Yeah, exactly, right. The original Gone
the
in
original
60
Gone
Seconds.
in 60
yeah.
Seconds.
Right. So she is an awful person, and then she comes back, and then she has a couple, like, scenes where she's really nasty again. Like, I can't believe you let my
Yeah.
daughter race, and my daughter's racing, blah, blah, blah. And the Tim guy is like, oh, yeah, I'm kind of sorry. I don't know what's going on, you know. And then he, like, falls over.
He like halfway dies.
Yeah, halfway done.
Did they say what his disease was?
Yeah, he had liver damage because of all the alcohol. Because he was a
Oh,
drinker. He
yeah.
was a rummy. He was a
It was kind of inconsistent though, because he gets the stomach ache while
Yeah.
she's driving home,
Yeah.
or
And he gets
while
a-
he's driving home. So
and then the
she
bloody
drives.
nose.
Yeah.
And the
How are
bloody,
those related?
I don't know. See, the bloody nose, I would think something respiratory.
I immediately thought cocaine. Did you not?
I don't think he was.
I was like,
could
oh,
be.
this guy's
yeah.
doing blow.
Wow. Yeah. No, I didn't think of that. I thought
Oh.
maybe it was something else, like I don't know what. But a lot of times, yes, the bloody nose is what they do to show someone has some illness.
Again, yeah. Shout out to Oh Hello, the Broadway show with John Mulaney and Nick Kroll. They do a whole bit about if you want to show someone sick, have them cough into a handkerchief and show that it's bloody.
Yes, exactly, and that
because
is
they're just
exactly
making fun
what,
of
the
plays. I don't know why I can't think of Broadway musicals.
Broadway
Jesus.
musicals. Yes. So so basically, he has cirrhosis of the liver, I believe, because of his
Okay.
drinking.
That's less fun.
But
It's kind of real and depressing.
Yeah, but and then he does start to like not drink so much when she's there.
Yeah.
When Ellie starts, when she's living there in the garage, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna drink that so much, and I'm just gonna have coffee.
Also, did you notice that he said that having Ellie in the garage was the best thing that's happened to him in the last 20 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's 16.
Right.
So there's 4 years there where her dad was alive because her dad died when she was born.
Yes.
That he was still not having a good time.
Was it
You know
like,
what?
was it
'Cause he
last
says
16 or was it 20 years? Did he say 20?
I'm pretty sure in the movie he says
Okay,
in
if
the
he
last
says 20
years.
He's been depressed 4
yeah,
years
it's
before
like,
his
this isn't a
brother
new
died.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just realized that now because I'm like, oh yeah, she's 16 in this
Yeah.
movie.
Well, which is another thing that's kind of like, okay, she's 16, so she's so young without really. I mean, it would have been to me more believable if they showed her like on a go-kart as a kid.
Yeah.
Like she was always into this stuff.
For no reason. Or like
For no yeah.
bicycles around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
She was always the fastest
Right,
one.
exactly.
And her mom was like, oh, maybe it's just the bike we bought her or something. You know,
Right, and then
trying
her
to
mom-
play off the race car thing.
Yeah, but her mom then would not. See, here we're rewriting the movie, but her mom then would not encourage her.
Right.
Like
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
she would win the soapbox derby, and
Yeah.
her mom would be like, "Okay, that's fine." And then she's like, this is really fun." Well, you need to look at other things in life, you know.
Right.
And like she would not be encouraging that. And then all of a sudden, she does get her license, and she does go and maybe she goes one day to her uncle's garage because their car needs fixing.
Right.
And then she gets involved in like repairing
Or they
cars.
need a bearing for her go-kart or whatever. I don't know.
Right. So, I mean, something like
yeah.
that would have made more sense. But this was like, wow, so stark. Like her mom. And her mom didn't tell her the whole story about
Yeah.
her dad. That is
Everyone
so
was
crappy.
so reluctant about like just telling her. I'm
yeah,
like, that
it would have been like,
sucks.
no, that's exactly how
Yeah.
things happened, and and oh, by the way, when you were born, yeah, your dad died in a flaming car accident.
Yeah.
But
I thought when they showed that
I
shot
guess
of
it's
the
kinda-
pregnant
I
mom
guess
in the
it's kinda
stands.
dark.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty dark. I thought they were she was gonna have the baby,
Another baby
right there.
Oh,
No, like at the racetrack and be like, you didn't know you were actually born on this dirt.
born
You know what I mean? Come
born
on.
at the very time that your dad was a flaming wreckage.
I was gonna say, like, you see
Your
that
da-
scar on your arm?
Your dad was burning in a flaming
where a
wreckage
flaming
at the
piece
same
of
time you were.
Carburetor hit you as he came out.
That's a really dark
I know.
tale.
I was trying
That's
to think
really
of something
awful.
like old car
Really
movie that they.
awful.
Some of the lingo that they were saying. Okay,
Yeah.
like when she brings in the shop car that she stole,
Yes.
and she's like, "I think it's part of the radiator system." Hey man, just say coolant system or radiator, like.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
what was the weird high school she went to, where
Yeah.
they had like the weird traditional school uniforms, but had a shop class?
Yeah. Yes. That was odd that they had well, she did go to private school. That's what her mom said.
Right,
at one
but what
point they sent her
private
to
school have you
private-
ever heard of had a shop
No.
class?
They don't have a shop class. And the other thing is, if she took one shop class, you've taken shop classes.
Yes, I took 2 shop classes.
Well, if you take one,
Yeah.
you're not an instant auto mechanic.
Right.
You might know a few things, and that's great.
Yeah.
But you need time under the hood wrenching
Right.
to actually get a feel for this. I
Yeah.
actually went through
Yeah.
all of the courses.
SAE certified, right?
No, not SAE
Oh, well.
certified. No,
Who are you then?
I'm nothing.
I
No, I
guess
went
not.
through all the courses and was certified by the college. I have a college certificate in automotive technology. So I actually went through all the classes.
Man, you still can't do anything.
and I still can't do anything. Wow, thank you
No,
so
you know
much,
what?
Zach.
You know
I now
what?
feel like I'm tiny.
It's fine. It's
Wow,
fine. I'll
fine.
give you these glazed
All right.
donut jelly
Wow.
beans, and
Well,
you'll
thank
forget
you.
about it in
Thank
2
you.
minutes.
No, I'm just
You know what
saying-
you did do though?
What?
You fixed our exhaust with a soup can.
I
I mean,
did.
the most MacGyver thing in the world. I still
I
can't
need a
believe
soup
it.
can, some duct tape.
Literally, there was a hole in the. Okay, so we
Yeah.
had this old '98 Ram.
Yeah.
We've mentioned it on like every podcast.
Bruh,
And
true.
the bung where the OBD2, or not OBD2, the O2 sensor.
Yeah.
Was actually welded into the exhaust. That
Yes.
bung had rusted away.
Yes.
So my dad here,
Yep.
the other host of this show,
Yes.
he's talking now.
Yep,
and he
right now,
always
that's
talks
me.
over me.
Go ahead. I'm not going to talk.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead. I'm not going to
Jesus.
say anything. All right, go ahead.
So you you cut the ends off a soup can,
Yes, it was a soup can.
put the O2 sensor in the soup can,
Yes.
and then I think you used what? Just like hose fittings to like tighten it down?
Yeah, I
like
did.
hose clamps.
Hose clamps, yeah.
Exhaust clamps.
Yep.
To clamp it on either side of the soup
Yep.
can. And
Yep.
it worked for like a year or so.
Yeah. We had that on for a long
We
time.
sold
yeah.
it to a friend. My friend towed
Yeah.
like tons of like full trailers with
Yeah,
race cars
sure,
and
yeah.
things on the back with this O2 sensor being held in by a soup can.
Yes.
So I guess you did learn
know it.
something at school.
I did. Well, that wasn't exactly what they taught me in
Yeah.
school. Really, honestly, what you're taught in school is throw away everything, put on new parts.
Yeah.
It really, that is.
Which is
honestly- yeah.
honestly the truth.
It is. I mean, that's what you do. Now, when you're repairing someone else's car, that's exactly
Yeah.
what you do. Now, if you don't have any money,
Yeah.
like I, for my entire life, never had money to fix my car, so
Yeah.
I remember.
Thank God we got that 151 million from
That's
Spotify.
That's
Wow.
right.
So life
It's a
changing.
yeah, it is. So,
But
but
yeah.
so I always had to do things like that. So I always had to figure out ways to find a better way, or find not a better way, find a way to use whatever I had
Yeah.
to fix those things. And at the time too, when we had the truck in that time, we didn't have the money. And so we just basically had to fix that as
Yeah.
quickly and as best we could. And so, yeah, I remember literally going out
Yeah.
and taking the
I
soup
think
can.
a little bit of JB Weld, right?
Yes.
To hold the
Yes.
O2 sensor in.
Yes, exactly. And
Shout out to JB Weld.
absolutely. And it was the high temp.
There's way
JB
too many cars on the road that are
High
being
te-
held together with JB
Yeah.
Weld at the moment.
high temp JB Weld,
Um,
and it worked great, and it was fine for a
Yeah.
while, and then you gave it to me. You
yeah,
gave
when
me
my
back the
friend
sensor,
ended
yeah.
up doing the exhaust, I cut it off, and I think the mount broke. I mounted it to a piece of wood.
Yeah, but I still have it.
And I think I wrote on it. I said,
You did.
proof that anything is possible.
Absolutely, and I
with the
think
right
it's
idea.
the coolest thing. Yeah, I absolutely, I think it's so great. I absolutely kept that because I want to, like put that back together. And
But
do
getting
it.
back to the movie,
Yep.
a couple other
What movie?
things that kind of
Yep.
bothered me with that intro is
Yep.
the like random jocks like making fun of.
Oh,
She's got a
always.
skateboard.
right.
It's like, what?
Actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that
that's
she
a
has
cool
a
thing to
skateboard.
do.
Yeah, no kidding.
Look,
It's
she's
like,
skateboarding.
yeah, look at that skateboarding chick.
Also, did she ever pay the guy back for backing into his car? Did they ever touch on that ever
they
again?
Never touched on that again. No, no.
There
I
should
mean
be a
that.
sequel where he comes to get revenge. He's like, my. Also, what kid in 2020 is driving a 70s muscle car to school?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
these
yeah.
car castings sometimes really bother me.
Yep,
Because
agree.
it's obvious that the filmmaker was like, oh, that was the cool car to have when I was in school.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
but
yeah.
now that's so unreasonable that a kid would have that.
You know who would not have selected those cars?
Craig Lieberman.
Very good, Craig
Craig
Lieberman. He
Lieberman.
would have said, "Nah, the kids wouldn't have
No,
this."
yeah.
one.
So
He would have got that right.
that's what bothers me. It always brings me back to the movie Paul Blart Mall Cop, where the girl
Yes.
drives a
Yes.
65 or 66 Mustang.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she lives on her own.
There's
She's
no
like,
way.
okay, I'm
No
not
way.
saying that women can't
No.
have it, but why would someone want the issues of a 60s? Why would
No.
someone daily a 60s car
It would have
in their
been.
own right mind?
Right.
Now, granted, we do daily a
okay.
90-year-old car.
Yes,
sometimes.
we do.
I took it to
That is
work
true.
the other day. Got a
Which
lot
is-
of compliments.
Which
But
is awesome. I love the fact
the
that you
Model
take
A's
it out so much. The Model A. But you're absolutely right. She would have had like a G6. She would have had an invisible car.
100%.
She would have had an invisible car.
Yeah.
One that-
honestly, the best casting would have been a beige Chevy Malibu.
You know what? That maybe should be your side hustle. Is
Yeah.
that you cast cars for movies because
Honestly.
you know
Yeah.
cars. You know like every car out
To
there.
be fair,
Yeah.
in Paul Blart Mall Cop,
Yeah.
he's leaving the mall when it's being spoiler alert for a different freaking movie. When Paul Blart is leaving the mall,
Yeah.
it's being taken over
Yeah.
by robbers.
Yeah.
He looks back and he sees that there's the Mustang left in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So it's a very obvious car, and he goes, "Oh, she's still inside.
Okay.
I have to go back in." However, this could easily be accomplished by a unicorn sticker on the bumper of
Yes.
the car and be like,
exactly.
"Oh, that sticker."
Exactly.
You know.
So he sees the
Here's what you
unicorn
do.
sticker. Yep.
When you first introduce the character, she's pulling away. You do a
Yeah.
tight close-up of the sticker
Yeah.
as she pulls away from the bumper.
Yeah.
Then later in the movie, you show that sticker again. The establishing shot of her pulling away from earlier will
Yeah.
register in
Yeah.
viewers' minds.
Yep.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yep.
I'm so good at this.
Or in addition to that,
Yeah.
he's talking to her for the first time. He sees the unicorn bumper and makes a comment.
Right.
Because
yeah.
the comment would
Oh,
be
you
something.
into unicorns?
Yeah, you
my
into
dad was killed by
unicorns?
one of them. It's like, what?
That would be like a red flag. to
Sure,
run
Jim, played by Oprah Winfrey.
That would be a red flag to run away very quickly
Yeah.
from this person.
Yeah, and the movie just
my-
ends there.
My dad was killed by a unicorn.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, but yeah, definitely something like that where you go, oh yeah, you into unicorns, and then
Yeah.
and then she's like, no. What do you say? And he'd be like, oh, and then it would be like this obvious, funny little thing that
Yeah,
he said
yeah, yeah.
wrong. But she has a unicorn sticker, and, so
And then you would
know, and
see
then
it
you
later in
that,
the
yeah.
movie. So
That's the way to do it.
That's when-
Not the car.
I can't get over a 20-something girl having her only car be a 60s Mustang in
Yeah.
like 2009
Right.
when that movie
Right.
came out or whatever. It's
Which,
like
yeah, which
it's
is-
just so unreasonable.
Exactly. And unless it was like given to her by her dad or mom or someone passed away or uncle and gave it to her, maybe, but then you wouldn't be taking it every day probably to the mall
Yeah.
where it's going to get dinged up and all of that. You would probably have another car or something that you take. It just was not realistic. But like in this movie, it was. I mean, it was. I appreciate the fact that they had. She stole the car from the.
The learner's car.
learner's
a
car,
little
yeah.
Toyota Corolla.
Was
yeah.
it a Corolla?
I
was it
believe so.
okay? All right. So
Excuse me, jeez.
so yeah,
Jelly
I'm
beans are
surprised.
fighting back.
I'm surprised you don't like even know the VIN number and all that of that car. But anyway,
All
all right, come
I
on.
don't think I've reviewed that generation of Corolla, actually. It's
Really?
like the weird early 2000s one, but like
Okay.
very typical of what a shop car would be.
Yes.
And actually, funny enough, today I filmed a 1998 Ford Escort.
Oh yeah,
And
I remember the Escort.
I
sure,
talked about
yeah.
it in the video, is that
Yeah.
my shop class
Uh-huh.
had a white 2-door ZX2 Ford Escort.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I
That's
remember
funny.
right after I learned how to drive stick shift, it was a stick shift ZX2
yeah.
Escort, which actually kind of a hot
Okay,
car.
yeah.
They came with dual overhead cams, the 2
All right.
doors. I drove a 4-door today, which was a single overhead cam, very lazy
All right.
car. But I was talking about my shop car was that car,
Yeah.
and I remember I would drive it around the parking lot just to flex that I could drive manual.
Awesome. Good segue though. I was just thinking.
You were thinking, and then you lost steam in your sentence real quick.
No,
someone,
I was thinking.
someone call the boiler room. We need more coal in.
No,
what?
so what that was reminding me of was in the movie.
Yes.
Did she know stick shift before? Did she know
That's what I
manual?
was curious about
Yeah.
too. First of all,
It was
I
way too
thought-
fast that she knew stick.
Yes.
But
yeah, actually, now that I think about it, because that Corolla or
There were
whatever
t-
was
and-
automatic.
and there was two like different kinds of stick that she ended up doing. Like one
Right.
was in that supercar, where it was like that straight shifter thing. That was
Right,
really
yeah.
weird. And then it was like the first time she drove was in the beater car on the dirt track in the back of the yard.
I
or
thought
whatever.
it showed them shifting in automatic at first.
Oh.
But then it switched, and I guess whatever car they
That would have
had,
been awesome.
it was a very thin
Yeah.
gate for the shifter. So
Right.
it was a 4-speed manual.
So but the thing is number one, if she didn't know how to drive stick before that point, there's no way she drove that well
Right.
instantly in a stick. That would be a good place to learn is in the backyard in a mud pit learning stick
Yeah.
because it's much easier and much less frightening to learn manual in like a backyard or something. But the fact that she learned it that well and that fast and was that good that fast.
What's the name of this
very
movie
difficult.
again?
Lady Driver. Oh my gosh.
It's not even
So-
coming up in
right.
Internet Movie Car Database.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Okay, Internet Movie Car Database.
So yeah, that's the reason I didn't write
All right,
down any
well, okay.
notes on the movie. Is
So I have
because
a,
I can't
I have a
even
couple
find
notes. I have a couple notes.
Okay.
All right. So
I do have one more note, but I can wait.
You sure?
Yep, go for it.
All right. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here it goes.
It's super great.
You
but
ready?
We'll get to it later.
Okay. The film was shot on location in
Yes.
Petaluma Speedway, California in October of 2017.
That is
So
the
you did-
only trivia fact that I could find on IMDb that was relevant.
No, but then, but the other one, though, there was another one on IMDb.
Yeah, wow. Sorry,
to you by-
sorry I only wrote 50%.
Brought to you by, but not sponsored
by IMDb, yes.
IMDb. The other one is this one, which is the garage used in Lady Driver is also the same garage used in the 2018 movie Dirt.
Yes.
Okay. How
Cool.
did you know that? Did you
Because
know
I
that?
read the other IMDb
Okay,
fact,
fine.
and I didn't know what Dirt was.
I don't know what Dirt is either, but I'm sure it's another movie.
I'm really glad you told our listeners about something we know nothing
Right,
about.
exactly. But here's what I'm
Okay.
thinking though is like, okay, kind of interesting. This location's already been in 2 movies. That's
Right,
kinda
yeah.
cool though.
It'd be kind of cool to go out there.
And then the other thing I read. Did you see this in the
I don't know.
IMDb? The gross national.
Yeah,
did
I
you
did
see
see
gross
it. Yeah, I
worldwide?
wrote it down.
$20,682.
They almost got themselves a Mazda 3 hatchback. They almost.
That can't be right. I mean,
well,
it
here's
can't
the
be.
thing.
Well,
I
it
was
was
like
released in 2000, but yeah,
2020. It
2000.
was
I'm
released
sorry,
this year.
2020.
Or last year. Jeez.
2020. The year
Um,
that didn't exist. But yes, okay.
But then I remembered that this
Yeah.
movie was I think it's a direct to Netflix movie. No,
Is it?
was this made by Netflix
I
or
don't
no?
know. I don't think it was made by Netflix.
Oh, then never mind. That's abysmal. I
No,
thought
I
this
think
was
it's-
made for Netflix.
No, it might have been, but I think this was an actual like. Well, we're gonna
I
put
also
it in
saw
the
it
theaters.
had like a worldwide release in like Uzbekistan or something.
Maybe.
I kept seeing a lot of like Russian characters. and
What?
things?
Are you serious?
Maybe I have a virus.
I think you think you.
Um,
Wow. Yeah.
but
I
anyway.
don't think so. But yeah. So that's really.
Is
the
that your
trivia.
notes?
That's it. That's
Oh,
kind
that's
of
it.
like-
That's all you wrote. Okay.
That's all I got.
I also wrote down that it only made $20,000.
Was that your
in the
other
box office.
thing?
Yeah.
but, okay.
Well, no.
sorry
I
to
do have one
steal your
more
thunder,
actually.
But yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because something I thought was kind of cool, but kind of also very much an oversight. was that they're slowly working on this car throughout the movie, and then at the end of the movie, it's a blue Camaro, a late 60s Camaro.
Oh, right. Yes.
And
yes.
he ends up giving it to her. He's
Right.
like, oh, I think it was her dad's car.
Yeah, it was like the first
something,
one they
so-
ever owned together,
Right.
the first one they bought. Yeah.
So
something
I
like
will
that, yeah.
give the filmmakers props
Yep.
because in that car, they swapped in an LS9.
Yes, that's right. They did. It was an
which
LS.
is a real engine
Okay.
out of the 2000. Well, basically the C6 Chevy Corvette ZR1. It's a
Really?
supercharged
Yeah.
6.2 liter, and in the ZR1 it makes 638 horsepower.
Wow.
I've driven a 2011 ZR1 with this exact engine. It does not mess around. That is
Really?
a gnarly engine, and that
cool.
putting that into like that old Camaro is such a cool swap.
Yeah.
That they just breezed over. I hope some PA or intern was on set or wherever they got that car. Like
Right.
that was a legitimately cool swap.
Yeah.
That like if someone offered that up to me for like review, I would like do backflips over. Like that was
Yeah.
something so cool and like really captured my attention.
Especially to put it in a Camaro. I think
Yeah.
putting a Camaro.
'Cause it's a Chevy engine.
yeah.
It's really
Well,
a
that's what
Chevy
it-
crate engine.
But that's what I mean, though, is to
Yeah.
put it in there. It wasn't like, well, we're gonna put this in a go kart or whatever. I don't know. It was
yeah, and
something
they weren't
crazy.
like, oh,
It's
we
a
put a
Yugo.
350 Windsor in there. It's like,
in the Adobe.
yeah, I did like that the
Yeah.
Adobe.
Look up the
SNL.
Saturday Night Live Adobe
Yeah.
car commercial. It's very funny.
which
but,
is actually based off of Renault 5.
yeah, that's right.
I sent it to you, right?
Renault 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Renault or Renault? Renault.
We
Depends on if
Americans
you're
say
French.
Renault,
Renault.
which was actually they sold Renaults here for a little
Oh,
while.
Okay.
But it from all the F1 drivers and all the F1 shows I watch and
Yeah.
stuff, they say Renault.
Renault. Renault.
So whatever.
Don't they ask
Renault? Renault Cinco. How about that? Just really mess
All right,
with
that's
your
fine. Well,
jargon.
That's all just
Um,
you put in a whole bunch of different.
But yeah, I
languages
thought that
there.
was really
Yeah.
cool. I did
All right.
notice that. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
and like
that-
those valve covers
Yeah.
that say the LS9
Yeah.
because it's really cool because the C6 ZR1 Corvette
Yeah.
actually has a window on the hood so you can see that it says LS9 on the engine.
Really?
The Corvette actually has
Wow.
a window on the hood
Wow.
so you could see the engine and read supercharged LS9 on it.
Okay.
Really, really cool.
Well, okay.
And also, it's a very famous crate engine from Chevy, so you can buy an
The
LS9
LS9?
just
Really?
from
Okay.
them.
All right.
You don't have to pull it from a Corvette, which is cool. Chevy's
How,
really good.
so
at
how
doing
much is an LS9?
$30,000.
38.
A lot of thousands of
30
dollars.
oh,
I don't
okay,
know.
Many
I
thousands
don't know
of
a
dollars.
number,
Yeah.
but last I looked at like engines like that,
Yeah.
25, 30 grand.
Okay. Well. Okay.
So
Well, but it was interesting and it was nice that she gets that at the end of the movie, but I kind of wish they would have played that up even more because that was such, like you say, that was such a cool car and such a cool swap.
have a flashback of the dad driving it.
Yeah,
I don't know, like just a little bit something because they mentioned it before they were
Yeah.
working on it. They
Yeah.
show the LS9 badge, super sick.
Yep.
And then at the end of the movie, she's like, "Oh yeah, who's this for, by the way?"
Yeah.
Has the customer seen it? Oh, I think so. Jesus,
It becomes a clown movie.
it's just terrifying.
No, but it is funny when the obviousness of it that it's going to be her car. I knew from the time
I
that
knew
they
it's
first they said it's a so very predictable. So do you want to get to would you look at it again or would you?
One more thing I do want to say
Okay,
before
what's
we
it? Yeah,
get to
and
that.
your trivia.
Well, no, we already did the trivia.
No,
It
you
was-
said you had another thing to talk about.
No, that was it. Was the LS9
Oh,
Camaro.
right. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
How is the shop making money? They're always freaking working on the race car. Like that's the thing
That's a
about
good point.
shops. I have
Hey,
a bunch of friends that own
Yeah.
shops. They work on their own things about 0.8% of the time.
Right.
99.2% of the time, they are
Yeah.
working on
Yeah.
customer cars
That is
and
true.
crying over it.
Yes.
So-
and did you notice in the movie when they're not working on the race car and it's like Julio's truck?
Yeah.
Some guy's
Yeah.
truck. And the mom goes, "Well, I guess Julio's truck's not going to get done." And they're like,
Julio's probably showing up like, guys, I gotta go to work. What is going on? You guys are out here driving on dirt circles. I paid you to put an alternator in this truck. I have to go to work.
They're out at the racetrack, and you cut back to a scene of Julio walking in, like, guys,
Like literally,
I'm not
like
playing around here. I gotta go to work.
it should just end in a lawsuit. I mean, that's how most of these shops end anyway. All the hack shops end in lawsuits.
That is true. Well, so here's the thing, though, is that poor guy is not getting his truck back because they're out playing around.
I'd
and
watch a
having fun
Netflix spin-off series of that guy. Just going through appeals and talking to a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I'd do it.
Yeah, that would
Would
be
you
good.
watch it again?
No.
No. Yeah.
I mean, it was a nice enough movie. It was okay. It was whatever. It wasn't like I hated the movie.
Yeah.
You know, if it was on, I wouldn't watch it. I would probably just keep it on because I'd be too lazy to reach over and turn the channel. But it's not something I would go, yeah, it's one of my favorites. I want to watch again. It's really great. You know, it's not a Ford versus Ferrari.
Right.
So, you know, it's not
I
that.
would probably change the channel.
Would you?
I don't have any. I don't know.
Like in lightning quickness, you'd grab the remote and
here's
change
the thing.
the channel?
I would wait for the guy from Boondock Saints to show up. And then I'd be like, hey, look, he's from Boondock Saints.
Hey, it's the guy from Boondock Saints. Yeah.
Which I've always wanted to learn the prayer. I just pulled the prayer up.
Oh, you
from
did?
Boondock
Okay.
Saints.
So what is that? Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Can you
Google
read it?
is freaking out and not letting me zoom.
All right.
And the shepherds we shall be for thee, my Lord, for thee power hath descended forth from the hand, that our feet may swiftly carry out thy command. So we shall flow a river forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. And then it says something in, I think, what is that?
Like Gaelic
Latin
or something. Like Gaelic,
I
yeah,
can't
something.
read.
Some.
In nomine partias el filii el spiritus.
Yeah,
some
probably
shit,
Latin
whatever.
or
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
And then they always execute the guys.
Yeah.
Which also, if you've listened this far, thank you.
Mhm.
We might start a Patreon.
Yeah.
And once or
something.
twice a month doing an episode strictly for the Patreon that's
Yeah.
a non-car movie.
Yes.
I think the Boondock Saints should be our first one.
Really.
Such a good movie.
It is a good movie, and it's really odd, but it's a good movie. Yeah, it definitely is. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I watched
would
it
watch
as a
again.
kid.
That I would watch
Um,
again.
It always reminds me of, like, obviously St. Patrick's Day here in town,
Yeah.
which was used to be celebrated heavily. I don't think I've
Yeah.
celebrated it in the last
No.
4 years.
Now, we actually
4
have, believe it or not, we have an inflatable leprechaun we can put in
We
the front
do?
yard. Yes, we have an inflatable leprechaun
Okay.
with a pot of gold that we
Ooh, I
can put
kind
in
of
the
remember that, actually.
Yeah, that we can put out.
4
Because
years
we used
ago.
to do it at the bank. We used to celebrate at the bank.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it was a
I'm
big deal at
keeping
the
it
bank, and I think ever since
was.
you moved banks that we don't really celebrate it anymore.
No.
It was a
it.
big deal in our town. I feel like there was a parade.
It was,
and
but last couple of years,
I remember like
yeah.
getting those big brown jugs of hot chocolate,
Oh yeah,
and we
'Cause
would
we
have
were
it
in
on the
the parade.
tailgate of our
yeah.
Dodge Ram.
We were in the parade every year. and it
Soup
was-
can.
Yeah.
And
It
one
really
year,
was.
God, how
The
big was
truck
that
was good.
Irish flag we put on the truck?
Oh my gosh, it was huge. It was like the whole size of the truck.
No,
and
it was like seriously almost like a 2-story building from
it
what I
was
remember. Which,
enormous,
to be
yeah.
fair, I was a small child, so like
Yes.
scaling was different for me.
No, it was enormous. It was a
it was
biggest
way
flag I've
taller
ever
than the
seen.
truck. It was
Yeah.
longer than the truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it was this huge Irish flag.
The story is that it actually came from O'Hare Airport.
oh
That
wow!
was
I didn't know
was
that.
flying at some point. That flag was flying at O'Hare Airport, International O'Hare
Yeah.
Airport, and
We'll
it
pass by it when we fly back to Chicago.
yeah, that's
from,
right. From Petaluma, California.
California.
Um, I actually stayed in Petaluma, by the way.
Really?
I wanted you to know this. I stayed
Okay.
in Petaluma when I was out in California in Sausalito learning.
Okay, made that up.
No, seriously, in
What?
Sausalito.
I didn't say anything. What? Go on.
In Sausalito,
Not a
I
real
was
place.
learning. Shut up.
What'd you say? I didn't say anything.
No, you said you keep interrupting
Okay,
me.
fine. Go.
All right. So in Sausalito, don't say a word. In,
Fake place.
in Sausalito, I was learning. I'm getting my certificate to being a 3D Autodesk 3D studio creator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I actually was getting a certificate at 3D Studio where it was 3D animation, and I was out. And the thing is that my boss didn't want to pay for an expensive hotel in Sausalito.
Yeah.
So he sent me out to Petaluma, where it was like $60 a night,
And you
there was
slept on a dirt track?
pretty much, and there was like gunfire and all this sort of.
Nice.
It was a very
Yeah.
dangerous neighborhood I was in. So, anyway, shout out to Petaluma.
Yeah, shout out.
It was actually pretty decent. They had a good Jack in the Box. There was a good
Okay,
Jack in the
well,
Box.
good
there,
to know.
Yeah. So.
So yeah, I would change the channel.
Yeah, you would change
not a
channel.
fan.
I would probably change channel too. I'm not. I wasn't. It's it's kind of like the Hallmark movie of dirt track racing.
Yeah.
Or something.
If this was one of my car reviews, because when I review
Yeah.
a car on my Shooting Cars YouTube channel, go like and subscribe.
Well, all right.
Not that I need it.
Wow. Yeah,
I do need it, please.
Yeah.
Actually, it's how I feed myself.
it's true.
Whenever I do a car review, like today's 1998 Ford Escort review,
Yeah.
I always do dash and then something eye catching or like my final thought on the vehicle. Like
Yeah.
I always do like a
Yeah.
little tagline. If we did that for these episodes, which we don't add like a tagline to the
Right.
title, I think this would be the Hallmark movie of dirt racing.
Yeah.
Or
That-
something
the
like
Hallmark,
that. I
yeah,
think that would
exactly,
be like the tagline of
yeah.
this movie. Just
It's
kind of summarize it,
yeah, kind of the Hallmark movie of car movies because that's
Right.
really what it is.
If Hallmark made a dirt track racing movie.
Right. And also, I'm also trying to figure out a better like sign off. I want to have like some cool sign off. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know. Like, hey, keep your wheels
You always
on
say bye-bye.
I say bye bye, but keep your wheels on the ground and don't be
I
frowning.
will cease. If you use that, I will not. You will have to find a new co-host.
Keep your wheels on the ground
Keep
and
the
don't
wheel-
be.
Hey,
don't
keep
be
those
frowning.
wheels a turning. All right.
All right, hey.
Hey, keep those wheels. Keep 4 on the ground. 10 toes down.
Keep the pedal to the metal and don't.
You should do something like obscenely not car related.
Yeah, that's right. I should. You're right. I should
Keep it
just say-
spinning like a ceiling fan, and then just out. Just like what? Yeah.
I remember. Don't grease the turkey. What?
Yep. And then
It
just
doesn't
cut.
make any sense at all.
I mean,
So I'll come up with something
Okay.
to say at the very end.
well.
All right. Yep.
Speaking of St. Patrick's Day and
Yep.
my childhood
Yes.
and growing up,
Yes.
do you want to hear our next
the
movie?
next movie? Yes.
I haven't seen it.
All right. I haven't seen it either. I don't know what it is.
I
so
don't
haven't
know
seen
what
it.
year it is, but
Yeah.
the Need for Speed.
What?
Need for Speed.
Oh, Need for Speed.
Need for Speed.
Oh, that was the one with
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul, right?
Aaron Paul's in it. I never
Yeah.
saw that movie.
Okay.
However,
All right.
Need for Speed as a franchise,
Yes.
I would say shaped me as a human more so than almost
The
any other
games.
form of media. Yeah.
The game.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit
Not the
2.
movies. There's
no.
There's only one movie.
I believe there's only one
Yeah,
movie.
I think so.
With
with Aaron
Need
Paul.
for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 came out in, I believe, 2002. Came out on... We had it for GameCube and
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Need for Speed. We did always
Need for
get
Speed Hot Pursuit 2.
stuff,
It had
yeah.
a Ferrari
Yeah.
360 and a yellow Lamborghini Murcielago on the front. And the
Yeah.
intro... It was the first thing I ever felt feelings as a human. First time I ever felt feelings as a human was when these this Murcielago and this Ferrari are racing each other, and they're going back and forth, and the police are chasing them, and they're like flashing their lights and going through barricades and stuff. And there's this rock song playing in the background.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like pretty decent 3D animation for the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, by today's standard, it's
Well,
it's
today's
terrible.
standard is like life,
But,
super realistic, hyper realistic.
And then Need for Speed Underground came out.
yeah.
And that's when first time you could customize a car.
oh,
So you could put
nice.
body kits, front bumpers, spoilers, wings
Yeah.
on the back.
yeah.
You could do paint jobs.
Yeah.
You could do the neon underneath. And then the better one, Need for
Mhm.
Speed Underground 2, you could put sound systems in your car. You could pimp out an Escalade. You could put spinners on it. Like
Mhm.
this was like the epitome of car culture in
Yeah.
2004.
It is. Yeah, it is true. I do remember you guys doing that though, and spending hours
And-
like pimping out the
But
cars.
even up through high school, there was
Yeah.
Need for back in 2005, there was Need for Speed Most Wanted,
Yeah.
which featured the BMW M3 E46, which is a beautiful car.
Wow, you remember that?
I'm
Okay.
going, baby.
All
and
right, okay.
that game also featured an RX-8.
Oh,
Shout out,
yeah, yeah.
Rotary. And then there's
Definitely.
Need for Speed Carbon, also a drifting game. I got really good with the Mazda RX-8 in that game. And then in high school, they re-released Most Wanted as like a different kind of game. They used the same name for it for some reason. But me, my brother, and our good friend Andrew would stay up till like 1 a.m. on school nights, and we would play this game because you could finally play online with each other. So we would just drive around
you'd
town.
stay up until 1 on school nights?
Oh yeah,
I was a great dad.
No,
I wasn't even
Well,
home
here's
around.
the thing: I would roll up my towel for the shower and shove it under my door so the light
really?
wouldn't go into the hallway.
Oh, good for
And
you.
What's funny is that like I assume you guys probably wouldn't honestly care,
No.
but it would be like 1 a.m. and we'd be like, "Hey guys, we should go to this part of town. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to the Lamborghini now." We're like whispering to each other.
Yeah, like why?
to play-
We're
I don't know,
sleeping. I mean,
to
that's,
play the game.
Yeah,
but we
that's
stayed
like-
up so
No, we
many
didn't
hours
care.
into this game
We didn't care.
because we would just drive around
care.
together in these like in our dream cars.
We're awful parents. We didn't care.
That's fine. But anyway, so Need for Speed has been a huge
All right,
part
well,
of
Need for Speed,
my
that'll
childhood.
be a good one, yeah.
I've never seen the movie.
You've never seen the movie, and neither have I. So interesting, and I
Hopef-
like Aaron Paul. So
And I like Aaron Paul as well.
is RuPaul in this?
RuPaul's not in this. However, I
Oprah?
did used to think that RuPaul's Drag Race
Oh!
was in fact drag racing, and it's
All right.
not.
Well, it's not. No,
so
it's something very different.
It's a cool show,
Yeah,
not
very
having
different.
to do with
Yeah.
cars.
very different.
So very excited for Need for Speed. Video game movies.
Yeah.
This is our first video game movie.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
Typically not great.
Yeah. True.
Super Mario Brothers.
I'm looking at you.
Looking at you, Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Something I would like to see is actually the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I still haven't seen that one from a couple years ago.
Okay.
Where they released a trailer for the movie. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And
Yes.
they bullied the studio
Yeah.
into switching how Sonic looked because he was so appalling.
Oh, yeah.
They put out a
yeah.
trailer and Sonic has these little tiny eyes, and everyone
Yeah.
was like, "What the
Yeah.
heck?"
Yeah.
So basically, people threw such a fit online that they bullied the studio to spend an extra 8 months remaking this movie. Which, talk about a pain in the
Wow.
neck.
And expensive. I mean,
And
that's
expensive.
not-
So anyway,
Animation's
video
cheap.
game movies. The next one is Need for Speed with Aaron Paul. Hope
Okay.
you guys enjoyed listening to this episode of
Yeah.
Lady Driver, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. Sounds good. And remember to sharpen your crayons.